Hello again, welcome back. It is Monday, August 5th, 2019. This is Draconis, and you all are listening to the Bamster News with Discotech G.
Discotech? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, unfortunately for any of the folks listening to this, you can't see what I'm seeing as we're on camera with each other. But, I don't know, lots of flashing lights.
See, I had a discussion with I have to be careful how much I say, because, NDA. A representative for a game company about doing something with them, and they asked me if I could have a camera. And I said I couldn't, because that would be in violation of the English Bill of Rights of 1689.
And... huh?
Yeah. That one has a paragraph that says something about cruel and unusual punishment.
Okay.
I actually thought that the person, since he was English, he would know this, but apparently he didn't. So, as you said, it's Monday, and that means news from Drac, so why am I talking?
First up, we have Alan Wake and For Honor are the current games that are for free on the Epic Games Store. So if you have not picked up these games before and you're not opposed to using the Epic Games Store, there's 2 more free games this week that you can pick up, but make sure you do that before Friday, August 9th, because they are only free until then.
So, Alan Wake, I think, has had a lot of attention if you're into those games. You would already have gotten it. But it's an excellent game, so get it, just so you have it, so you can play it, and you can sell whatever copy you already own. And if you don't own or haven't played it, get it and play it. For Honor, though, is excellent as well. I really liked it. We did a preview piece on it back a long time ago. I think Ubisoft has hit on something interesting here. But here's something weird. I recently encountered, because it's about to release over here in Europe and US, Kingdom Under Fire 2. It's a big game in Asia that's moving over, which has these much more giant battles, siege battles. I want a mix between that and For Honor. I want a game where you can log in 100 people, play For Honor style, but in a giant siege battle.
I think they have games out like that. I think there's 1 or 2 games that have that medieval style.
I've not seen any good ones.
Ah, well, okay. I don't remember you saying it had to be good.
Oh, sorry. Anyways, after that, if you missed these 2, the next one is called Nog, G-N-O-G. And I think it's a game. It's definitely trippy.
Yeah, watching the trailer, it looks like an LSD trip.
So, keep an eye on your EGS account.
All right, moving on from that, some interesting casting announcements for the Halo TV series.
Okay.
You're going to make me do it.
Sorry, Halo is a game where you run around shooting other people. It's for 13-year-olds and it's multiplayer. Go for it.
Couldn't the same thing be said about Warframe?
Do you know what? I've never had anybody just sit there shout obscenities about my mother in Warframe.
Well, I don't know about the shouting obscenities part, but running around shooting people.
No. Warframe is PvE.
Well, so is a good chunk of Halo.
Not the part people play. People only play the shoot each other games.
Yeah, I never played the PvP, and I stopped playing after, I think it was the first or second, I think it was the second game was the last one that they brought to PC before they went exclusive to console.
Okay, so who's going to play as, what do you call him, Master Cook, and who's going to play as Halo, and who's going to play as...
Master Cook. You're just having fun running wild with this thing, aren't you? Because I know you know.
I don't really have any... Halo just isn't me. Back when Bungie made games for, before Halo, on Mac, sure, but, it was an Xbox exclusive. I didn't play Xbox games.
Well, I guess one of the big ones that they just were releasing info on is Natasha McElhone from Californication and Truman Show is going to be playing as Dr. Catherine Halsey and also as Cortana. So the voice on Windows that you hear all the time when you tell it to, hey Cortana, like if you're speaking to it like Alexa or whatnot, the Microsoft AI, that's one of the characters that she'll be playing.
Let's see, Alexa barely does what I tell her to. And my Windows computer never does what I tell it to. I'm not going to start telling my computer to do things. At least not the Windows one.
Well, and I think a lot of times, too, it's been years now, but from what I remembered, Cortana was kind of sassy and told Master Chief what to do most of the time, so... Not that he necessarily listened either, but...
But yeah, there's a whole bunch of people that's been announced. Shibama Atsumi, Bentley Kalu, Natasha Kolzak, Kate Kennedy.
Bokeem Woodbine?
Possibly. Yeah, up there. We'll play Sean 066.
Yeah, I've seen him in a bunch of things over the years. So, yeah, I'd be curious to see... The character they say that he's going to be playing is a morally complex privateer at the fringes of human civilization, whose fate will bring him into conflict with his former military masters and old friend, the Master Chief.
Okay, so he's the antagonist.
In some part, it seems.
So I'm thinking didn't Netflix have Halo Forward Unto Dawn or something? That didn't look particularly good. I'm assuming this is going to be better.
Well, hope so.
But again, if you're really into Halo, I think you're already on top of this.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this turns out. I'm also excited that the Halo games are coming back to PC finally, so I'm still waiting to get my hands on those, though.
Yeah, we saw that movie with Rock the Johnson Dwayne, Doom. So my expectations for video game adaptations are not particularly high, and that goes for this, it goes for Witcher, and goes for pretty much all the other ones. Yeah, I'm hoping there'll be a good one.
And I loved his tweet not too long. Well, was it a year or so ago? I don't even remember now. Where he said something disparaging about the Doom movie he was in, and the response from the Doom Twitter account was, "Dwayne."
Dwayne. So yeah, if nothing else, we can always watch Pixels again.
It was okay the first time around, but eh.
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't. Talking about things that are terrible. ESA, the US Entertainment Software Association. Is that what they're right? Yeah. They uploaded a spreadsheet with about 2,000 people's names, private addresses, private phones, email addresses, you name it. Effectively, by accident and stupidity, they doxed 2,000 people who works in the industry. A lot of them are press, games journalists. Some of them are other people who are there for whatever. But basically, if you've attended under a secondary media, secondary business credentials, I think they call them, at E3 this year, all your private details have been leaked, basically.
Well, potentially leaked.
It seems like pretty consistent. I was seeing left and right Twitter accounts getting put into protected mode. One guy that I follow a lot, Kirk McKeon, has, he's been threatened by gamers, etc. He's had death threats leveled against him. Suddenly his private details are out, so those people that have been really in his face, and it goes for a lot of others, they now have his home address and they have his phone number, because that is now out there thanks to the people behind E3. And this is terrible. This is literally a life-threatening for some of these people. And ESA is not saying anything. They're not coming out and saying, "Oh, we will cover you or we'll help you." So if anybody still hasn't, if anybody's affected by this and still haven't, go to your local police station immediately. Ask for someone, tell them you work in this business. If there's been targeted threats or generic threats against you, and that your information has been leaked, pretty much everywhere they will know how to handle this, because you are now a person who are in need of extra attention. They will drive police cars past you, etc. Keep an eye on you. And if it escalates, if more threats gets leveled against these people, if letters, phone calls start showing up, then the police can react to it. So I hope anybody who's on those lists going to the police officers and saying, this has happened, I am now a person who's under a direct threat. Change phone numbers, change your address. How the fuck do you do that if you own the place you live in? Some of these people aren't just renting somewhere. Renting, it's relatively easy to move, even if it means your rent goes up, etc. But some of these people can't just sell their house and move. And we're talking about people who have, spouses, they have kids. This is bad. This is really freaking bad. I'm in Europe, Drac's over in Trumpistan. At least over here, I have the protection of the GDPR. I would hope some of the people who's been leaked, I can say, as far as we're aware, nobody from our end are, because none of us attended E3 this year. But the ones who are, that they will file a GDPR complaint against the ESA, which means, a large fine. I would hope there's something in the US, but it doesn't seem like there's anything of the same sort. There's some laws that are on the way because Facebook are assholes. But there's no real big protection. Banks will need, some bank accounts can be taken over, can be emptied using some of the information that are in this leak. It is really freaking bad.
I want to go back a moment ago to when you talked about the whole thing with one of the journalists receiving death threats. Like,
a lot of these people have.
Well, and I know that in some cases or in a lot of cases they think that they're necessarily like empty threats, which, if that's the case, if it's an empty threat, if you're on the other end of this, if you're the one doing that, what is the point? Like, what does that really give you to, you're stupid. And aside from that, this is somebody who is working in a capacity to bring information out and to publish information. And yeah, a lot of times nowadays, the information is accompanied by opinions. One of the biggest problems I have, and one of the reasons why a lot of times I avoid political stuff, be it here on the show or online, is, everybody has their own opinion. You're not going to convince anybody differently. And if your opinion is too much different from them, a lot of times it creates too much, strife and drama. And I just don't care for it. I don't care for that drama and stuff. But the point is, just because someone has a different opinion than you doesn't mean that they're deserving of some kind of death threat. And their family sure as fuck does not need that kind of stress in their lives, especially their children. So knock this shit off.
And I know that there's a lot of people out there in the gaming community, a lot of kids, because fucking none of these people are grown-ups, no matter what age, who are thinking game journalists are, they're paid off by the gaming companies. No, you're thinking of influencers. These people do it because they want to, because they like games, they like the game industry. Being a game journal pays like shit. They are not on the take from the large companies, no matter how much you agree or disagree with their opinions. Stop hounding them, stop harassing them. It doesn't give you anything.
Well, it doesn't add to the conversation either, because just because you have a different opinion about a video game or a series of video games or whatever, like if you ever want to influence someone's opinion, you need to have an intelligent discourse. If you're shouting into the void names and threats and things like that, you're wasting your breath. It's not going to do anything.
And that's before we even get into the whole attacking game journals who doesn't have a dick, so to speak, right? Some of the bullshit that gets levered against them is insane. And some of the threats, even worse. The very notion that somebody isn't a middle-aged white dude or a young white dude is suddenly, it's offensive to some people out there. Stop with the threats, stop with the bullshit. And in the case of E3, congratulations. Stop with E3. Because none of us want to go there now. Well, I made fun of it when you talked about E3 earlier this year. There's a few 100,000 more people attending Gamescom than E3. But E3 is seen as the big one. E3 is dead. I'm sorry, this is it. Nintendo's been pulling out, and they're now doing Nintendo Direct. Sony pulled out and now doing the equivalent Why have E3 if none of the media wants to show up because they know they're not safe there anymore?
Yeah, this definitely does not help the case of them trying to deal with these other huge companies pulling out. So,
and if now ESA is liable literally for millions in Europe, the standard fee, the standard maximum fine for the GDPR violation is what, 20 million euro or 4% of your global revenue, whichever is bigger. So even if they have fuck all revenue, it's still 20 million they'll have to pay over here. If there's a suit on this, they will probably be forced to pay all the expenses in changing all the details that they've leaked, so people can go back to being somewhat safe. This is going to drain them financially, and as I said, why do E3 going forward? It's dead.
Well, and I'm going to shift topics from here on
You are
another
getting away from
financial
the
drain.
politics.
Well, I don't know that we're getting away from politics, but we're gonna shift to another financial drain. How about that? This is one you'll enjoy: the U.S.-China tariffs and the effect it'll have on the gaming industry, or could have, I should say.
So this one is difficult because we see these articles. There's a few that's come out now. Trump's getting into the third round of tariffs on China, and it's a tit for tat. It's a trade war, and it's now a full-on trade war. It's 300 million worth of goods that are getting initially 10 up to 25% tariffs. So that's food, that's toilet paper, that's gaming consoles and TVs, that's socks. It's everything at this point. Everything more or less gets affected. There's a few things that are still not. But what effect does it have on the gaming industry? Well, a lot of the gaming industry isn't in the US anymore. It's actually moved out. So if we take the gaming industry itself, game development still happens in the US, but a lot of it happens in Canada, France, England, but also in China. Several places in Asia, there's large groups that are doing work over there. And the tariffs even don't, as far as I have seen so far, it doesn't seem to hit on services. So the gaming industry on that side is just not as affected. But on physical discs, expect a 10% raise in price. If they cost 60 bacon tokens over there in Trumpistan, they'll now cost 66. Or price goes down, the store makes less money, the importer makes less money, etc. Something has to give. So physical discs are getting worse price-wise. Digital, same. Game consoles are going to go up by 10%. Game controllers are going to go up by 10%. Gaming laptops are going to go up by 10%. Your flashy RBG memory modules that you need inside your case for some reason will go up by 10%. Your CPU is going to go up by 10%. All these components look like they'll go up in price. So that side of the industry is going to get hurt. That means the platform holders, the hardware manufacturers, the mod manufacturers, all the ones who make fun toys. Heck, I haven't seen it pinned out, but I would expect Drac's little dolls are going to go up by 10%. Sorry, action figures, Drac. Action figures.
If they don't have removable clothes, they're not dolls.
No, you're not trying hard enough.
No, the funny thing is that we're seeing... Well, I don't want to say the funny thing, I guess, but we're seeing manufacturing shift because like Nintendo has started shifting where they're going to have their consoles manufactured. Sony has said that they're probably going to have to increase the retail price of the PlayStation because of these tariffs. So what I would expect is the cost gets passed on to the consumer because the businesses are not going to want to pay for this cost. They'll just raise the prices of their goods, and if people want them, they're still going to buy them. I haven't seen a statement from Microsoft yet on if or how this affects the cost of the Xbox console that will be coming out, or if they're shifting manufacturing to another country. So that remains to be seen.
And remember, this round of tariffs still isn't fixed. It isn't guaranteed, even as we record this. It might be by the time we release it, because it's weekend. Trump might change his mind. There might be a really good cheeseburger tomorrow, and he decides that he's happy and doesn't need the tariffs, right? All of these they're hurting because the counter tariffs by China. They're hurting export of soy. One of the biggest productions in US is soy. That means farmers are going to go bankrupt. Is he going to change his mind and say, "Oh, we don't need it anyway because the counter is bankrupt farmers"? There's still a lot of things up in the air, and thankfully I'm over in Europe, so for me all these price increases aren't affected. Now, where we get ours not via US, we get them straight from China.
Well, and I did see too that they're doing some kind of like subsidizing, like some kind of government program to give farmers money who've been affected by this. Now, as far as the exact quantity of that money, from my understanding, is that it won't make up for everything that they've lost with access to that market in China, or I should say, with regards to access to that market in China. But it does. It's better than nothing. But the farmers themselves have even said they'd rather just have access to the market in China. So I don't know how long this will continue to go on, but yeah.
Out where you are, wines, all wine export from California, Stan, has basically hit zero. They're not exporting anything to China at this point, and that was becoming their biggest market. Have fun. A fun one that can hit, but right now might not. US's paper production, paper mills, is at an all-time low. You never produced less paper in the US, and it's actually difficult to get good quality stock for comic books.
Ooh.
Yeah, comic books could get more expensive.
This is the point where we need the meme of somebody falling to their knees. Why?
Yeah, so this is going to hit everywhere, and I like that Drac in the last topic just explained how he does not want to do politics.
Well, then we will shift from politics to VR.
Nope, because I want to do one thing before that. October 31st, the UK, our other big market for this little show, is Brexiting. And they are looking fully like they're on track to become under WTO rules, World Trade Organization, which means an average 3.6%, I think they've calculated to, increase in prices, literally a tariff. If you think of it as an across-the-board 3.6% tariff, in some cases up to 20-something%, which means games and game consoles in UK are going to go up in price. So that one is also getting affected not by the trade war with China, but simply by Brexit. Along with in the UK, remember the whole thing I said about the gaming industry itself is largely unaffected. But in the UK, gaming industry is a bigger market than video and music together. And a lot of the people they count on are foreigners. People that have come to the UK to work there. People they've had to pull in because they needed certain skill sets. They needed experiences. There's some open questions there. We're going to follow them. We're going to look at them later on. But the whole headache of the current situation globally isn't just, Trump, China. No, it's this. There's a lot of them going on right now. There's a lot of places where you can expect things to either get more expensive or businesses to take a hit.
What, have you got your tinfoil hat on?
My tinfoil hat?
as Bam would say. Well, because I'm going to put this rumor out there and see if we can get it to go anywhere. The whole Brexit thing, it's just a conspiracy put forth by Ubisoft to promote the next Watch Dogs game. The face you're making, that's the face you're supposed to make. It's not supposed to sound realistic.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Ubisoft are the big sponsors behind Aaron Banks.
All right, moving on to VR. Have you checked out No Man's Sky?
Still not, because the game looks... It still doesn't look like a game. I have no idea what you're doing. You just fly until you get to the middle of the universe.
Well, I played it a little bit, and my interest did wane with it. It it is interesting. I like the concept. There is definitely some fun to be had, and it can be fun to kind of explore things. But what they're going to be releasing here should be on the 14th of August is their Beyond update, and that will include a VR mode or support to play. So it's not a separate game. It is a free update to the existing game for PS4 and basically Steam VR. So I'll be able to strap on my VR headset and check out No Man's Sky in that.
And I'm just being a bit of a curmudgeon. No Man's Sky actually looks like it's good fun. And some of the later updates fixes things that we made fun of, a year ago by now? VR, though, has, I think that's going to make the game even more interesting, even more immersive. But here's the weird thing, it's going to be on PlayStation 4, and Elite Dangerous still doesn't have VR on PlayStation 4. So how can No Man's Sky does it and Elite Dangerous can't? Come on. And just to be clear, I have Elite Dangerous. I play it partly because I played Elite and then I played Frontier Elite, and of course I'm going to play Elite Dangerous. And I think there's a little bit of I played that and then I'll skip No Man's Sky because there's some overlap.
Yeah, I can see that. But I'm looking forward to check it out. Any chance I get to strap on that VR headset and check out something new.
Drac really likes his strap on.
Oh God. Now I need to find that. And staying within the realm of VR, Respawn, the creators of Titanfall, are going to reveal the virtual reality FPS game that I guess that they've been working on since sometime in 2017. So it's going to be released, it looks like, on the Oculus Store, I think. It's saying it's an Oculus exclusive. So I'm hoping that that's a timed exclusive, because I have a Windows mixed reality headset. But I guess we'll have to wait and see if this is something that is also within that Titanfall universe, or if this is kind of a standalone new product entirely.
It's probably just Apex VR Legends.
I did wonder about that a little bit, whether or not it would be Titanfall VR or Apex Legends VR, so...
But what I'm wondering more is, Apex Legends, they literally just paid, a few million to get people literally taking the biggest influencers they could find that was a fit, flying them down, showing them the game, and then say, yeah, in 24 hours you get to talk about it. I'm wondering whether they would do that with VR and find the biggest VR influencers.
Yeah, I know we wouldn't be on that list, but how do I get on that list?
Well, it's not interesting for you because they fly them to California, Stan.
Yeah, but where in California is the question?
I know this.
Probably not San Diego.
No, further up, LA-ish. It's oh god, I wonder if I can get to see some Titanfall. Gamescom last year, I think it was the year before, 2 years ago, I messed up a play experience for a group of people because I went in with them to play Titanfall 2. And then halfway through I went, this isn't fun, and then I left. And my group just went, oh, are we leaving now? And then they left as well.
Bad G.
It was, the controls were annoying.
Well, you were probably playing with a controller, right?
Yeah, and the controls were annoying despite being a controller.
No, better with mouse and keyboard.
Nah, nope.
Something else that's better with mouse and keyboard is Destiny 2. Their latest expansion that was due out sometime in September, Shadowkeep, has been pushed back to the 1st of October. So, they're saying that, took a lot of consideration, didn't make the decision lightly, but they're having to push that back. Which, you know what? With a lot of the changes that are coming through for Shadowkeep, the additional story content, the fact that they're now going to have this whole free-to-play architecture, the Google Stadia stuff, and cross saves and everything else, there's a lot going on there for them to make sure that that's all working, the way that it should be. So that's understandable if they need to push it back slightly. No big deal.
Don't you just feel like they're running around a lot right now? And, they should be allowed to delay things a little bit and have things calm down and know where they're heading. Are you getting it? Or did you already buy it, or do you have one of those pack thingies?
I don't have it yet. I am planning to get it though because I know that I'm going to be playing through Shadowkeep. I don't plan to do any kind of like season pass or anything like that with it, but I will be picking up the Shadowkeep story expansion and transitioning my account from Battle.net to Steam.
Okay, well, I played Destiny 2 a bit on PlayStation. That Cade guy, he looks like fun. I'm going to see what happens to him.
Oh, you mean bastard! Yeah, no, I think I sunk about 700 hours in that game. So,
And you call me absurd. Fair enough.
all right, and then on that note, that is where we are going to end the news update for today, Monday, August 4th. We hope that we have brought you some information that was both interesting and unknown to you, and
some opinions that were terrible.
aren't they all?
They are. Let's be honest.
As always, a like, subscribe, share, all of these things are appreciated. Click all those buttons, ding all the bells, and any suggestions, comments, questions, leave them down for us. We will get back to you. This has been Draconis, and I'm out.
And don't forget, in a couple of days, there's another episode. That's upcoming games, yeah. And after that, there is Friday news. So don't miss those. Ciao.